Yeah, I can see that. You're shooting alone, the way you work with the weapon. But I do have to find out, right?
He showed me that video. I was like, Brock, bro. Like, honestly, I was like shocked.
I was
legitimately shocked.
I'd only ever been to Taran's once before that, and I only shot twice. So that was really my first time ever shooting. And like I'm saying, like 2 rounds, and that was it. And it was nothing else. It wasn't transitions. It wasn't reloads. Everything I just did was all brand new to me.
All right, hold on. So audience members that are listening to this story, we're talking about going to Taran Butler's, all right, Taran Tactical. And this man came in, grabbed his, Glock, and he fires with it. Then he puts the Glock into his holster. He transitions into a rifle, an AR, and he starts to fire from that as well. So it is a skill. You guys have seen it in John Wick. You've seen it in Heat. You've seen it in all of those movies. And this man came in and was able to do that with a live fire weapon. And I know a lot of you out there might say, oh, guns, bullets, not a good thing. It's not like that. This man went out there in a very professional setting with a bunch of professional people in this industry and learned how to handle this weapon in a practical way that was safe and was amazingly executed. Now, that in itself, it sounds to me like you've only shot 4 times from what you just said. Is that true?
Well, only at Taran's. I've shot before, but I don't shoot very often.
Okay, yeah. But military-wise, like tactical-wise, because you were fucking high and tight. Oh, can I say the F word here? Okay, you were high and tight, man. Seriously, your shit was, you were crossing T's and dotting I's the way that you were moving. Your shoulders are forward. You were leaning in. Looked like you were going to shove your barrel down someone's fucking throat and make them taste the water on your knee. It was great. Yeah. I was all about that shit, man. Yeah. And you came in looking like a fucking stud, making things happen, with those weapons. That in itself is sexy. It's beautiful. It's great.
And if you think about it, like, let's say we're making the TV show on our comic book, right? Tons of action in it. You go to a studio. What Brock did, some actors or actresses might never achieve after tons of money and time put into it, right? And like, that's what I was sitting there like bewildered. Just like, that looks like John Wick, right? Like, it looks like something super. It's amazing hearing it from you too, like the way you define it and go through it.
That's why I'm wondering, because if that's only 4 times at Taran or 2?
No, I mean, that was my first real time at Taran's. So I've been to Taran's twice.
Man, okay, so I'm just jealous. So fuck you, first of all. Second of all, when people get a weapon in their hand that does have bullets in it, you're scared. You're nervous, and he didn't do that. He was able to, but I also have to admit, my hat's off to Taran, because Taran is an amazing instructor. Yeah. Within, an hour's time, he's got all of my daughters to handle a weapon that well. So my daughters are all from, when they came in at 13 years old, all the way up through 16 years old. Now they're at 18, 19 years old. And I don't condone people using weapons in any other way other than being professional. But at the same token, I do want them to know how to handle a weapon safely so that they don't get hurt or hurt someone else. Yep. And I can tell you that you did a great job, and Taran did a great job of teaching you. But more importantly, your tactical sense looked like Sicario. Looked like, Benicio del Toro and Sicario coming in just looking like a well-trained, professional, operator. Well, it was great.
I think from a storyteller's standpoint, too, like, I love film and TV as much as everyone else at this table, right? And when I watch stuff on TV or on film that they aren't doing things correctly, or they're mashing the finger way over the trigger, or they're not handling the weapons properly, there's not, all the safety protocols aren't being followed, whatever it is, if that story's not being told right, it takes me out of it. And I don't, like, for me, mentally, I'm like, I have to figure this out as fast as possible and as safely as possible so that I can be a better storyteller. That's where my mindset's coming from,
Well, he was good. Let's just cut back to the chase. He was good, guys. Everyone, he was good.
No, I appreciate that, man.
It's extremely high praise coming from you too. Honestly, like, that's amazing. And I feel like my eyes didn't deceive me. It was very quick and very accurate.
Yeah. Look, okay, so shout out to my buddy. I have a SEAL team, ex-SEAL team member, ex-team guy. His name is Andy Arabito. He's the one that did all of the technical advice on the Avatar sequels that we did.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, he's the one that made me have a greater appreciation for that tactical movement. And he thinks outside the box. And you remind me of it. And I certainly hope, you know, my boys out there, you're right. He's brand new, so don't go ahead and get all up on me about the fact that he might have moved some way a little bit wrong or whatever. Come on, guys, let's go ahead. You know, he's brand new, but he was really amazingly talented at being brand new. And then I know you trained with the Navy SEAL over in Tennessee.
Yeah, out in Nashville. Yeah. Ian and Casey Diedrich.
Who's an amazing actor. Love him. He's one of us. You know, he's the kind of guy that will collect trash just like anyone else. Work out like a mother. He's great. And then he had a Navy SEAL, Ian. I'm not sure his last name, but he was spectacular. He taught those guys both how to be spectacular with weapons too. So shout out to both of those guys as well as Taran Butler.
Yeah, 100%, man. And that's, you know, something that, you know, as filmmakers and friends, you want to collect people that are like-minded and kind of have the same direction or want to go in the same direction as you. And Ian and Casey, you know, Taran, everybody, it's just like, that's why I love doing this, you know, because I know we're going to be working on more stuff together. We want to create more things. We want to tell more stories, but having those groups of people that you meet through this process, there's nothing better, man. Like I love a film and I love a set because every time it's a new adventure, it's a new experience. It's something that I got to figure out, and I'm not doing the same thing every day of my life for 10 years. I don't know what tomorrow looks like, man, and that's exciting me because I get to problem solve. I get to figure it out. I get to show up, but you meet those people that are just so great, like you, man, dude. The second we met, I'm like, this guy is the man.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I guess sitting here on this podcast, I don't know much about it. You know, what is it you guys try to get out of your podcast? What do you want to give to the audience? What does the audience tune in for on your podcasts?
It's a great question. We typically go for, you know, we try to keep it motivational, positive, while still talking about obstacles that you had to overcome.
Great.
Right.
Great.
That's kind of the very basic formula. Would you say that's?
Yeah, definitely. It's we want to stay, you know, like he's saying, positive. But for me too, it's I love diving into people's mindsets. You know, what makes you you? How did you get to where you started to where you're at now and where you're going to go? And like,
I love it.
What does it take to get there? You know, because
it's a way better way of saying it.
Well, I mean, more or less. I don't know, but for me, it's if I'm an audience member and I love film, I love TV. If I'm a fan of yours and I'm a fan of your work, which millions and millions of people are. Dude, we get to dive in for a second into your mind. It's the coolest thing in the world.
I love it. So let me do this then for the audience members, because I know that we just spoke about something that a lot of people don't know much about and wish they did. And they think that it's out of their grasp, and it's not. And that's the thing that actually kind of irks me a lot about the public. Taran Tactical is in Simi Valley, California. You can go there and take lessons. Anybody can. They all think they can't. They all see his posts on Instagram and they feel like that's out of my league. I can't get there. No, you can and you should, you know, and don't feel like you can't go there. And I guarantee that there's also other places in this country, in this world, that you can go and get this training. You just have to take the effort to do it.
Right.
On top of all of that, I have to admit, it's like some of the reasons why I've gotten better at what I do for gun work is I'd go home with like airsoft guns that are still practical, real, you know, but they're safe. And I still practice mag reloads. I practice, you know, aiming. I practice holding the weapon, things like that. And so that's the stuff that a lot of you guys at home should also know, that you can become better at these things without having to use a real gun. You know, something that has bullets in it. It's still a real gun, but it has the airsoft ability to it, you know, so you can still do that stuff.
Right.
And I would say, regardless of if it's a real gun or not, you know, you treat it like it's a real gun, and
always,
at all times. Because what happens if you make a bad habit of pointing it in the wrong direction or keeping your finger on the trigger when you're not ready to shoot something, you're going to translate that on to when you do have something
muscle
that's real.
Memory, all that.
And it's the worst thing you could possibly do. So safety above everything is the number one thing you need to focus on, I think.
It's like a golf swing, honestly.
Yeah.
If you practice golf wrong, you're going to develop a bad habit that's going to take way longer a lot less stakes, right?
Sounds like everything. Sounds like acting too.
No,
absolutely.
Totally.
You're right. I think that also for the people that are listening, I think that, you know, aside from you guys going out and getting these lessons, which I think everyone should, I think that there's a need in this world. And I know that there are people in New Zealand that don't have guns and we're not going to be using guns. Look, you don't know where you're going to end up in this world. I remember that there was some guys on a train in France, you know, and I think Clint Eastwood did a movie about it, right? And all of a sudden a terrorist got onto that train, was going to shoot and kill people. And these three guys just teamed up and took this guy down, you know, to be able to grab a weapon from someone, know how to handle it well, know where the business end is, know how to stop a magazine, take a magazine out and things like that. Right. I think is a valuable talent. I also think that, and this is what I feel is super important, for my kids, for anyone, for girls, for boys, it doesn't matter. Everyone should be able to pick up their own weight. It doesn't matter who you are. I guarantee at one point in your life,
pull-up,
that's right. You should hang from a bar and be able to lift yourself up onto that bar and get your body over that bar so you can climb up. Because you never know, you might have a piece of a pier like that you're on with your family, and all of a sudden that pier breaks and you fall and you have to hold on for your dear life. You have to be able to get yourself up. Say you fall at the edge of a cliff and you're in Yosemite looking at some beautiful, you know, landscape, and you fall and you hold on to something with your hands. You have to lift yourself up so you don't die.
Yeah.
I think that everyone should be able to go out there and lift their own body weight up. So that's one thing. Number two, everyone should be able to hit something with a sledgehammer. Okay, whether it be a sledgehammer or an axe. I prefer an axe for my family because I want them to know what it's like to take an axe and either have to like hit a door and break a door open to help save a family member or whatever. But if it's a sledgehammer, whatever it is, everyone should be able to swing a sledgehammer or an axe and hit something without hurting themselves. Right. You know, it will teach you how to have force. It'll teach you how to lean into things like that. Yeah. I think that's one of the most important things that anybody can do in their lifetime.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed the video.
And subscribe and hit the bell for a whole lot more to come.